Hello and welcome. You're watching at UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. These are the headlines.
Patients with urgent red flag breast cancer referrals waiting up to 9 weeks for assessment.
They need to get round a table and sort this out because people cannot be putting their lives on hold for this length of time.
Parents call for special needs school places for their children as Education Authority confirms some pupils don't yet have a place.
A new dig begins in County Monaghan in the search for disappeared victim Columba McVeigh.
And the devastated family of 16-year-old crash victim Jaden Rice speak out to help other relatives who have lost loved ones on our roads.
Also tonight, building big, Lego prepares to open its first store in Northern Ireland.
And it's set to stay rather unsettled over the next couple of days as low pressure continues to drive our weather. I'll have all of the details later in the programme.
Patients who have been red flagged for urgent breast cancer checks are having to wait up to 9 weeks to be assessed. That's despite the target being just 2. The delays continue, even though a new regional service was put in place earlier this year in the hope of addressing long waiting lists. One of Northern Ireland's most senior doctors says the delays could affect patient survival.
One woman who has been told she may have to wait 8 weeks for an urgent appointment has told UTV the situation must be sorted out. The Department of Health says it's making every effort to improve access to timely and appropriate care. Here's our correspondent, Gareth Wilkinson.
Mary O'Hagan has taken on the English Channel. She's an open water swimmer who lives from challenge to challenge, but could be facing her biggest yet. 4 weeks ago, she discovered a lump on her breast.
For me anyway, I'm trying not to worry about it because it could still be nothing. But at the same time, it could still be something. And I don't know what I'm dealing with.
The mum of 5 has been red flagged for a cancer assessment. She's from Mackara in the Northern Trust area and has been told to expect an 8-week wait for an appointment. The target is a fortnight.
Is the fear that the longer you wait, that potentially, if it is cancer, that it could be getting worse? Is that the big anxiety?
That's the major anxiety. We all know, with cancer, that the earlier you catch it, the better.
It was the Western Trust that had the best reputation for hitting the 14-day target missed by some other trusts. Now red flag referrals are dealt with on a regional basis. A model introduced last May to create a fairer system across Northern Ireland. But even in the Western Trust, increased waits of up to 9 weeks have been reported. The British Medical Association says delays can affect survival rates.
So we need to understand very clearly and very quickly whether this is going to be an ongoing delay or whether this is part of a process to improvement, and we're going to see an improvement in the very near future. Because this is very serious.
In a statement, the Department of Health says Minister Mike Nesbitt is committed to reducing waiting times across the system and embedding the changes. That patients are now prioritised by clinical need rather than postcode, and that this was absolutely the right thing to do. Derry-based Assembly member Mark Durkin has been contacted by a number of people in distress. He says he's previously raised problems surrounding the regional system with the Health Minister.
Effect, and when you see how far standards have slipped in trusts like the Western Trust, it's clear that it isn't working, and I've written to the Minister seeking an urgent review. I
think if this had happened a year ago, 2 years ago, I probably would know already what's going on with me, and I wouldn't be sitting in limbo. I don't know if it's Mike Nesbitt, I don't know if it's the department, maybe, but somebody needs to get round a table. They need to get round a table and sort this out because people cannot be putting their lives on hold for this length of time.
Mary O'Hagan ending that report by Gareth Wilkinson. 6 children with special educational needs still don't have a school place here for the upcoming term, according to the Education Authority.
That number has dropped from 2 months ago when there was a shortfall of over 160 places. However, around 100 children may not be able to attend school full-time as construction works continue to help create new spaces. Jordan Moore reports.
Is that for me?
Just smell it.
Lovely. 5-year-old Shayna should be starting Primary 1 next week, but so far neither him or his mum have any idea what school he will go to.
You just feel like you're always in fight or flight, like you're just working to the next deadline. You don't know, it's so unfair for Shayna having to tell him over and over again that you don't know when he's going to school. He sees his older brother going to school, you can't go shopping, it's supposed to be a fun time, you can't go get uniforms or, I just don't know what it's going to look like or when it's going to be for him.
The Education Authority announced today that roughly 100 pupils with special educational needs will start this school term with limited provision until at least Halloween. There's also 6 yet to receive any place at all, but it's a complex situation and there is other children affected too. Just like Shayna, who has been offered a school place, but UTV understands the Education Authority is now looking to try and find an alternative specialist place for him.
He's very over-anxious when he goes out. He can become very, very overwhelmed and everything's sort of on his terms. Once he's done, he's done, He does need a lot of adult reassurance and he is allowed to attend a unit, but there's no space for him. I was asked for parental preferences 3 weeks ago again, and the parental preference, I was told that there was no spaces, so I'm awaiting the school to come back to see if they're going to accept them.
According to the Department of Education, the number of children requiring SEND provision has risen by more than 50% over the last 8 years, and the number in special schools has increased by 25%. The Education Authority has called for schools to provide SEND places. It insists it will provide financial support and training to help, but currently only around a quarter of mainstream schools offer specialist provision.
It's very disappointing that we still have a considerable amount of children who don't have a full-time placement within education. I believe that every child has the right to education in Northern Ireland, and it is disappointing that this has went on for so long, that it must be considerably stressful for the parents and families involved.
The start of another school year and issues around SEND provision haven't been fully corrected. Jordan Moore, UTV Live.
The family of disappeared victim Columba McVeigh says a new search in Bogland in County Monaghan brings them fresh hope.
His brother Oliver says he believes there are those out there who can help to bring his brother home. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill reports.
The beauty of Bragan Bog and the diggers are back. The only hint of the horror that unfolded here almost 50 years ago. Could the earth finally give up its darkest secret and end a family's torment, so they can at last lay this teenager, Columba McVeigh, to rest?
Well, merely fulfilment of what I promised my mother. So I just want to get him, take him up the street and bury him in the Christian in the McVeigh plot. That'll be fulfilment to me.
This new dig by the commission set up to locate those who have become known as the disappeared started a week ago. No new information on Columba's whereabouts, but a review of a previous search carried out 2 years ago. This, the 7th operation to locate the remains of the 19-year-old. Investigators realised they missed a patch of land last time round, and that's what brought them back here and to that spot over there. Now, they won't be here long, possibly a max of 5 weeks. In the meantime, Columba's family face yet another agonising wait.
Do I think he's there? Yeah, I'd say, going with our information we've got, yes, he is there.
So do you think this is the last chance, Oliver, to find Columba?
Absolutely not, no. No. There's no such thing as the last chance until we find him. Simple. That will not happen, in my watch anyway.
Columba was kidnapped by the IRA, murdered and secretly buried in November 1975. It is suspected he is in this bogland in County Monaghan. Columba's brother believes there are Republicans still out there who were intimately involved in what happened to him. And while Sinn Féin has appealed for those with information to contact the Commission, Oliver McVeigh believes the Republican movement could do more.
I think these people should be going, taking their kicking and screaming if need be privately to try and help these people to recover, to try and help the Commission to recover the body.
Aside from Columba, the remains of 3 other disappeared victims have yet to be found. They include Joe Linsky and Captain Robert Nyrak.
I'm never going to give up. In fact, I do want to give up, but I want to give up when we find his body.
They have already waited and hoped for decades that they can bring Columba home, and they are not going to give up now. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live, County Monaghan.
The family of a County Down teenager who died in a road crash outside Bangor last month say they hope to help other people who have lost relatives on our roads.
Jayden Rice's family organised a vigil earlier this week in her memory and are calling for better road safety measures where she died. Her mother and grandmother sat down with our reporter Peter Moore in their first TV interview.
Hold on. Can we switch the language? We better hit it.
A vibrant teenager full of life.
Just so funny all the time, and it's hard because you're not hearing her voice, and we want to hear her voice. We listen to the videos just to hear her voice.
Jayden Rice would have been 17 in October, a bright future ahead. But it was left for her family to open her GCSE results last week.
Passed everything she needed to pass, and she got enough to get back in, do her A-levels. She should have been opening herself, with her friends. It was hard, but I'm really proud of her. I just wish she knew herself.
From school, Jayden had a promising career in the army ahead of her.
She was in the Grantchard detachment of the Royal Irish Guards.
The cadets did a Guard of Honour for inside the church and spoke. And to see the impact that Jayden had on other people, on her friends.
That impact's still so clear to see on Bangor's West Circular Road. This is where Jayden died just last month. Charged with causing her death by dangerous driving is Jamie McCartney. The 30-year-old is also charged with 2 other offences. Earlier this week, the family held a vigil where Jayden lost her life, also attended by others who've lost loved ones on our roads.
Mostly to remember Jayden. Every family that's lost somebody has a Jayden that means as much to them as what she does to us.
All of those other people that were there last night, they had dreams and aspirations too. They had families, and they all had their photos. They all carried them, and it was so beautiful to see.
We were standing there at Jayden's memorial, and people are still flying past days later.
Racing
days
each other, flying, yeah. And our grandson, he's scared to use that junction now. And even for Kenley, they were 2 peas in a pod, and he's having to navigate now
through into a world where he's now having to live suddenly like he's an only child.
A family torn apart, trying to pull together, whilst holding their memories tight.
She's done anything for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. She would never have said no. She always would say, I love you. She wouldn't have left or finished speaking to you without saying, I love you. And we miss them phone calls. We miss them I love yous.
Jayden's grandmother, Judith Miller, ending that report by Peter Moore.
The TUV leader, Jim Allister, has welcomed Nigel Farage's plan to change the Good Friday Agreement if he were to become Prime Minister.
The Reform leader said he would leave the European Convention on Human Rights, which underpins the 1998 agreement, so that he can press ahead with a radical new policy to stop illegal immigration. But while the TUV leader has welcomed the move, the SDLP leader Claire Hanna has described it as an empty slogan. Here's our political editor, Tracy McGee.
It's become a burning political issue. Hard to stop illegal immigration has become a test for successive governments, but so far there's been no lasting solution. But Reform leader Nigel Farage believes he has the answer. His plan will mean leaving the European Convention on Human Rights and replacing it with a UK-specific Bill of Rights. And announcing the plan yesterday, he said it will mean renegotiating the Good Friday Agreement.
Can we renegotiate the Good Friday Agreement to get the ECHR out of it? Yes. Is that something that can happen very, very quickly? No, it'll take longer.
The DUP and the TUV are supportive.
There's nothing sacrosanct about the Belfast Agreement. It's been changed many times. St Andrews, Hillsborough Agreement, and most spectacularly in the ripping from its very heart of the cross-community consent when it came to the protocol. So it's not a holy cow.
But the SDLP leader sees it differently.
Well, this is what Nigel Farage does, puts out a big undeliverable idea, and hardline unionism will seem to follow English nationalism wherever it goes. It's very clear he'd drop this region in a heartbeat, and it's a good reminder that the pragmatic thing to do is to plan for our different and more secure constitutional future in a new Ireland.
At a press conference today, Nigel Farage was asked again about the impact on Northern Ireland, and he admitted the issue is complex.
I did say yesterday very, very clearly we would not be starting with Northern Ireland. That is something, as history shows us, anything to do with Northern Irish or Irish politics often takes years and years to solve. So that will not be at the forefront of what we do.
Recent protests have shown that the temperature is rising over immigration. Nigel Farage's plan may have been dismissed by his opponents as undeliverable and unserious, but he insists he will deport 600,000 asylum seekers in his first term in government.
There's a way to go until the next general election, but if Reform's numbers continue to rise in the polls, this radical new plan could cause a major headache for the other Westminster parties. And if it ever becomes a reality, it could lead to politics here being caught in the middle of a controversial national policy with unintended consequences for Northern Ireland. Sound familiar? Tracy McGee, UTV Live, Belfast.
Some of today's other news now, and detectives are continuing to question a man in his 40s over the murder of Sean Small in Newcastle, County Down. The 84-year-old convicted sex offender was found dead outside his home in the Slieven of Brock Avenue area on Sunday night. Police say he had been subjected to a brutal and sustained attack. It's believed the pensioner was last seen alive a week ago.
A teenage girl from County Tipperary who died after becoming unwell at the Emerge Dance Music Festival in Belfast will be buried this weekend. 17-year-old Mia Keevan died in hospital after the events. An online fundraiser has been set up to help support her family. Police are continuing to investigate her death.
The Ulster Farmers Union says the Infrastructure Minister has instructed her staff to meet with UFU representatives on current A5 issues. It's after the High Court ruling which blocked the upgrade of the dual carriageway between Auchnacloy and New Buildings outside Londonderry. There's been confusion among some farmers affected after Liz Kimmins lodged the appeal against the court decision not to go ahead with the new road.
Time now to look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
Yes, with all the details, here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, energy bills are to rise for millions this autumn. So what's behind the increase and why could there be even more hikes on the way? Farmers joined firefighters on the North York moors to bring a wildfire under control. And Taylor Swift, soon-to-be father-in-law, spills the secrets of her engagement to Travis Kelce. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Thanks, Mary. My nephews will love this one. Northern Ireland's first Lego store is set to open its doors to the public in Belfast tomorrow, with fans expected to queue from early morning.
The new store, the building block company's third on the island of Ireland, is being seen as a welcome boost to the economy. And Barbara McCann got a sneak peek.
It's a global brand with universal appeal, and now in the heart of Belfast. Lego's first store here opens officially in Victoria Square tomorrow.
This formula has really worked well, because what we realized during COVID and afterwards, that shoppers and people are looking for experiences. Retail entertainment is big, and they want to come to spaces and create memories with their families and loved ones. So this is, in this year alone, we have opened around 24 stores globally. And what we see is when we create these spaces, this gives families and kids a reason to come in, to play, to experience the brand.
While Lego's investment is being seen as good news for the wider retail landscape in Northern Ireland, there are still challenges ahead.
We've seen some success stories in recent years, but we've also significant challenges around Tribeca. We really do need to get that project in that area of the city centre a proper strategy in place to regenerate it. I think with the right joined up approach with the council, with the executive and the national government as well, all working together, I think we can address those challenges. I think Belfast has huge potential. It is huge opportunity, and it is genuinely welcome to have a good news story today that a global player such as Lego has now invested in our city centre. And that's good news for all the other traders, indeed all the other hospitality business as well, because that will help generate footfall, which will go on to help generate sales.
Why Belfast? Because Belfast in Northern Ireland is a great place for us to reach our fans, and as an organisation we are always looking for where the fans want us to be and where do we find the best opportunity to set up a retail format where the store is well lit, it's accessible, and it gives us an opportunity to create a space like this.
Lego has established the building blocks for a future in the city. It's left now to its fans to make of it what they will. Barbara McCann, UTV Live, Belfast.
Now we've had rain, we've had sunshine, but let's see what's coming up. It's time to check on that all-important weather forecast.
Yes, let's get it now. Here's Louise.
Bringing the warm sunshine outside, inside. UTV Weather. Sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, good evening. A cloudy and damp start this morning, but we did have a few brighter breaks develop through the afternoon. Over the coming days, low pressure continues to drive our weather. We have some heavy rain moving through overnight tonight into tomorrow. Quite breezy and blustery when the showers push through, and it will feel noticeably fresher tomorrow. Temperatures down a few degrees than we had on Bank Holiday Monday. So that low pressure system pushing in from the Atlantic is bringing some rain, some heavy showers at times, quite blustery, the odd rumble of thunder in places. Isobars are tightly packed there, indicating quite breezy conditions as well, and we have the next low pressure system pushing up on Saturday, bringing some wet and windy weather. Those showers tonight pushing up from the southwest, some heavy bursts there. The heaviest rain expected across the northwest, quite breezy in the overnight period, and under all of the cloud cover, temperatures will hold up around 13 or 14 degrees Celsius. A breezy, blustery start tomorrow as that rain continues to push through. Once again, some heavy downpours of rain across the hills, pushing northeastwards through tomorrow, brightening up across the west later in the afternoon. The odd rumble of thunder and the heaviest shower. Temperatures reaching highs of 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. Across the rest of Ireland, it's a rather changeable and settled day. Heavy rain pushing in from the west. Staying driest across the southeast with a moderate to fresh northwesterly breeze. Temperatures reaching highs of 16 to 18 degrees Celsius. We can expect more rain on Friday, I'm afraid. Some heavy bursts there, the odd brighter break at times. As the next low pressure system arrives in on Saturday, it will become quite wet and windy for most of us, with further showers on Sunday. Temperatures down a few degrees, highs which is 17 or 18 degrees Celsius, so just about average for this time of year. That is very latest. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye for now.
UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
Thanks, Louise. I think those showers aren't going anywhere. Sure they're not. OK, just before we go, a reminder of our latest episode of The Auctioneers. That's on UTV tonight.
Yes, we take a look as the world's largest private accordion collection arrives at the auction house, whilst furniture restoration expert brings his items in for sale. And here's a flavour of what's in store.
We have absolutely everything from ornaments to there's some accordions that have came off fairgrounds. We have accordions that have been used to smuggle cash from Cuba. And we have a Darius Constellation, which is a accordion that a lot of people have heard of but nobody's ever seen, and the inside of that is walnut and it's all engraved with horses and carriages. It's absolutely gorgeous, but from the outside it just looks like a plain accordion. He has literally every accordion. Yeah, it's the largest, we believe, the largest private collection of accordions in the world.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Not too bad.
Now, if you want to catch, that's the Auctioneers tonight at 11:10 on UTV, and you can watch the series so far on ITVX. Just go onto the news section and select UTV. Well, that's where you can find all our local programmes along with the special reports and extended interviews.
Well, we got through that. Daniel Duffy will be back with the late news at 11 o'clock, but from Sarah, me and everyone in the newsroom, have a very good evening. Never good.